am black and beautiful. O daughters of Jerusalem, do not gaze at me because I am dark. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth.
Solomon is king of Israel, one of the most powerful men in the world. With polygamy lawful, Solomon is said to have 700 wives and 300 concubines. Some of these relationships were built on love, but often these relationships were designed for other reasons.
Be aware that any child from the daughter of the Pharaoh of Egypt cannot inherit the thrones of Israel and Judah.
But the council must also be aware that there are other reasons for marriage than just the begetting of heirs. I married the Pharaoh's daughter to avert war and bloodshed.
But my lord
Zadok, in future, be advised that I will marry to consolidate my lands and to promote trade. I will marry to ensure peace with my allies, to discomfort my enemies, and to please myself. And I assure you that I will marry to beget heirs to the throne.
This lesson shows Solomon as a mere man, in love with a Shulamite woman. This woman stands apart because Solomon, the king, loves her, and also because she was different, dark and beautiful. The Bible describes her skin as black, the color of the tents of Kedar. The women of Jerusalem looked at her strangely. Even her brothers mistreated her, giving her awful tasks such as keeping the foxes out of the vineyard. He distinguished this Shulamite woman from all the other wives.
You are as beautiful as Tirzah, my darling, as lovely as Jerusalem, as majestic as troops with banners. Turn your eyes from me, they overwhelm me. Your hair is like a flock of goats descending from Gilead. Your teeth are like a flock of sheep coming up from the washing. Each has his twin, not one of them is missing. Your temples behind your veil are like the halves of a pomegranate. 60 queens there may be, and 80 concubines, and virgins beyond number. But my dove, my perfect one, is unique. The only daughter of a mother, the favorite of the one who bore her. The young women saw her and called her blessed. The queens and concubines praised her.
Who is this that appears like the dawn, fair as the moon, bright as the sun, majestic as the stars in procession?
I went down to the grove of nut trees to look at the new growth in the valley, to see if the vines had budded or the pomegranates were in bloom. Before I realized it, my desire set me among the royal chariots of my people.
This love story is our lesson because it shows an example of godly love between a man and a woman. Marital love is symbolic of God's love for his people. Gary Chapman, in his book on the languages of love, says that we express and perceive love in 5 different ways.
Years ago, I discovered that what makes one person feel loved doesn't make another person feel loved. So I kept asking myself when I listened to people in my office say, I feel like my spouse doesn't love me, what did they want? And I looked over my notes and I realized that their answers fell into 5 categories. I later called them the 5 love languages. 5 ways to express love emotionally. Number 1 is words of affirmation, using words to affirm the person. You look nice in that outfit. I really appreciate what you did. You can affirm their personality, you can affirm something they did or the way they look, but you're using words to give verbal affirmation. A second love language is gifts. It's universal to give gifts as an expression of love. The gift does not have to be expensive. It's the thought that counts. But it's not the thought left in your head that counts. It's the gift that came out of the thought in your head. So gifts. Number 3 is acts of service. Doing something for the other person that you know they would like for you to do. In a marriage, we're talking about cooking a meal, washing dishes, vacuuming floors, trimming the shrubs, changing the baby's diaper. Ooh, big act of service. Anything you know your spouse would like for you to do, acts of service. Then there's quality time, giving the person your undivided attention. I don't mean sitting in the same room watching television. Someone else has your attention. But sitting in the room, looking at each other, talking, or taking a walk down the road, even going out to eat, assuming that you talk with each other. Quality time. And then there's physical touch. We've long known the emotional power of physical touch. And the key idea of the 5 love languages is that each of us has a primary love language. One of the 5 speaks more deeply to us than the other 4. And if you understand your spouse's love language, then you must choose to speak it. In a marriage, almost never does a husband and wife have the same love language. And we tend to speak our own love language. So if words of affirmation is his love language, he will give her words of affirmation. You look so nice tonight. I really love you. I really appreciate you. But if that's not her language, she will begin to feel, let's say her language is acts of service. She'll begin to feel, if you love me, why don't you do something to help me? Why do you watch TV while I wash the dishes? I don't get this. So he thinks he's loving her, he's sincere, but he's missing her because he's not speaking her love language.
Solomon took a Shulamite woman that was made to feel different and used words of affirmation to make her feel wanted and loved. This woman gave Solomon quality time and the warmth of her touch to ease the king. There's a link to a quiz which will help you determine your love language preference and the love language preference of your spouse or partner. Take it, spend some time discussing it, make sure you're speaking the other's language. Now, that's the lesson for this week. Please like us on Facebook, share it, retweet this, pin it on Pinterest, email it, or text it to your friends, the link. Thank you. Bye. God bless.